FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio. This is The Odds Couple on GrindCityMedia.com. Handicapping all the football action, here's Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
Hello, good people. Welcome to The Odds Couple. It is Sweet 16 week here on the program. Glad you are with us as we talk NCAA tournament, which had a wild first weekend. We'll talk about it. We will get into the Sweet 16. Lance Taylor will join us. We'll get his thoughts on the action coming up this weekend as well. Tigers in the NIT. We'll talk about that as well. They're in the Elite Eight, I guess it's called. I don't know if it's called that, but they're there.
It's got to have a different name than the Elite.
You would think so, yeah. That's Lang Whitaker as well. He's back. How was vacation? Good?
It was nice. It was not warm enough to go swimming every day.
Right.
But I got to see my parents, so it was good.
All right. John Roser is out today. Jessica was going to come in again, but then she had she had some. She's not feeling well. She's not getting a lot of sleep with this Grizzly schedule.
I was so ready to give a Pac-12 roast, basically. I had all sorts of jokes ready, and
I'm glad she's not here for a couple of reasons. One,
her victory lap we would have to
her USC victory lap over Drake, and she took a shot at me on Twitter when Drake did win the first matchup. She said, "I thought they always cover."
Yeah, I saw that.
And then she's a multi-bracket filler-outer, and I don't like those people.
I don't either. It's like a polygamist or something. It's like you got to have one bracket. You got to have your bracket.
I had them in my other bracket. No, that's not allowed.
We can't hedge our bets.
No, that's ridiculous. So, no, we miss Jessica. Wish she was here today, but she's not.
She's probably just too excited that USC is
she's hung over probably from USC's win.
Yeah,
and the way that they rolled. Holy smokes.
Not just a win. It was I think third worst loss in Kansas history.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was impressive. CJ Hurt in the house.
Hey, I work with Jessica very, very closely on the
don't tell her anything we just said.
Don't worry, she doesn't listen to this
show. She is excited, not just about USC, but about Pac-12 basketball in general. She was waving that Pac-12 flag mighty high today.
Well, it's good we found out what the Pac-12 is actually good at. It's not football, and it maybe baseball.
Softball?
I think they're good at basketball only in the years the ACC is down.
Yeah, that could be it.
Because that's the real takeaway from all this, right? Is that I miss the ACC being good.
Yeah.
It made the brackets so much easier to fill out.
Why do you miss that?
I knew in the past years. Okay, you got UNC going to the Sweet 16, Duke to the Sweet 16. All these Virginia to the Sweet 16. It was pretty easy to figure out. Now all these teams are terrible this year.
I find it very odd. Every single year this happens, and it's happened again this year. Does anyone have a good bracket? I mean, have you ever talked to someone that's like, love mine? No. After that first weekend, I'm in great shape. Nobody. Everybody. Mine's done. My bracket's done. It's over.
Normal person. Normal people don't have good brackets. The people who have good brackets are
the people who don't know they have good brackets.
Yeah, they're like people who, they just pick it, flipping a coin and stuff like that. People who actually watch college basketball, no one's going to have a good bracket because so much craziness happens.
But it doesn't matter. The first and second round really don't matter. Right. It's what you have left. I still have 3 of my 4 Final Four. I'm all right.
Left,
I'm okay.
And my champion's still around. But, I feel I had Virginia in the Final Four, so that's going to cost me.
Well, I had Ohio State in the championship game.
Yeah, well, that might hurt.
That was a mistake.
Don't talk to me about them Buckeyes.
Yeah, I know. I keep waiting for Michigan now to just fail. Sorry, CJ, but it's just yesterday they're down 5 to LSU. I'm like, figures, they're going to lose. Yeah. But they didn't, so I still got them alive. But just hanging on by a thread.
I've got them winning it all. So,
do you?
Yeah,
so do
Michigan.
I. Yeah. All right. So. Well, that's good. That's good. What did you learn from the first round? I mean, it was fun. It's been a fun tournament.
I think I don't think you can count favorites this year. The seedings probably matter less than ever. I kind of thought I thought Virginia was going to do well because they had such a weird ACC tournament thing happen, and then you figure, all right, they're going to have some rest. They're going to have time to kind of regroup, figure things out. Tony Bennett's a good tournament coach. We've seen him do well before. I thought this was going to be a good year for Virginia, and then they come out and look terrible. I think these teams that Loyola and Eastern Washington, these teams you don't know anything about, have a chance. They all have a chance. It's out there. Eastern Washington had these guys. I thought it was Lewis and Clark. The way those guys look, they had a guy with like a beard, and like I think one of the guys had a pickaxe. Like they're a wild looking team.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just in a bad mood today. That's why I didn't like Jessica, and I look at the brackets, and nobody's got a good bracket, and then. I'm kind of waiting for that whole. Well, the best teams aren't always in the Final Four. Well, so what? Why do we love underdogs winning in the first round of the tournament, but then as the tournament goes on, we don't want to see any of them
because they screw up our brackets?
So what? I mean, I find it. This is what playoffs are about. I mean, you could say it about every sport. Does the best team always win? Maybe the closest you have is college football because it's down to 4 teams, and usually the 2 best are playing, and the best team usually wins. And if they're not, it's they were better that day, but I guess they're better now. But in basketball and every other sport, you get knocked out. People get knocked out. Upsets happen. And bottom line is when all these big upsets happen in the tournament, those teams are gone. Oral Roberts, it's been fun, but you're gone. I mean, it's over. Right?
But don't with basketball, there's more of a chance. The more rounds you go, the more chance there is. If you're not a real good team, you're going to get exposed, right?
Yeah.
In football, there's only 2 games. You might be able to sneak by 8 quarters and just be able to, out scheme another team for 2 games.
Yeah.
But
looking at you, Ohio State with Cardale Jones.
Sure.
Absolutely.
With basketball, though, the more you play and you get into your 5th game in the tournament, whatever, at that point, I think teams, you know what you're getting at that point.
Yeah. So I think when we get down to your Final Four, even the Elite 8, you're going to have the cream rise to the top. I mean, you're going to have an 8 or a 12 in your Elite 8, whether it's Loyola or Oregon State. But other than that, and if they were to advance, so what? So be it. I think it's been a great tournament. I haven't missed the ACC schools. I haven't missed Coach Cal. I haven't missed Tom Izzo, even though we saw him for a day. I am a little regretful that we have to continue to see Jim Boeheim.
Yeah,
I just want them to lose. I don't like watching them play.
I agree.
I don't like that there's a Buddy Boeheim. I know everybody loves Buddy Boeheim. I don't like Buddy Boeheim because he's Jim's kid. He plays on Syracuse. They play that horrific defensive zone that's just miserable to watch.
I agree.
Jim Boeheim recruits guys that can play a zone and maybe win tournament games. They shouldn't even be in the damn tournament.
They're not going to win tournament games. I mean, they're not going to win the tournament. That's the thing with Syracuse, right? They're going to win a round, 2 rounds. They might get to the 8.
Right.
But they're not going farther than that, not playing a 2-3 zone, unless they have Carmelo Anthony, and that's not happening.
Right,
again.
He's not walking through that door.
I mean, you realize this is basically another personal attack on Jessica that you just came out with.
I hope she doesn't watch this week. CJ, tell her we didn't do the show this week.
Tell her we canceled.
Got you.
We retired from that 8 o'clock.
Since she decided not to be here, we canceled the show. We thought we couldn't go on without her. Tell her that.
I got you. I'll pass that along.
All right, I appreciate it. CJ, what'd you learn from the tournament? Have you enjoyed these first 4 days?
I've loved it so very much. Not just this one, but the women's tournament as well. Michigan and Tennessee are about to tip off. It's me versus Robbie. I can't wait to beat them. But I learned that sometimes you can't bank on the best conference in the nation,
right?
And that only gets you so far. Big Ten. With only 1 team in the Sweet 16. That is pitiful when you think about what Ohio State was able to do. When you think about Illinois versus Loyola Chicago, may have been seeding, but you play who's in front of you. So Illinois going out the way that they went out, and you got Iowa losing in impressive fashion to Oregon, and Maryland falling apart against Alabama. Like the Big Ten, we held them up, and the Big 12 also. Right. We held those conferences up as, hey, these 2 conferences are the best 2 conferences in the nation. And you take a look at the Sweet 16, and they are void of Big 12 and Big 10 teams.
And now you get a group of 5 conference like the Pac-12 that's going to.
Come on now. Come on, that's unnecessary. Hold on, wait.
Sorry.
Wait, I've got to step in, Lang. Like, that is they've got 5 teams in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, what you think about that, Jessica? Group of 5.
They got the ability to send like 3 to the Final 4. Y'all got to be nice to the homie.
Once Jessica wasn't here, I was like, I guess I can't use that line, but I figured out a way to get in there. No, but I do think maybe I don't think those teams in the Big Ten are bad. Like those are like talented groups of players, right? Like I
Yeah.
mean, they're able to recruit really well. Like Michigan State should not be losing these games. Illinois should not lose. Maryland should not. Like these are good teams with 1 through 12 talent on their roster, more talented than the teams they're playing against. So it's
Yes.
either coaching, matchups. I don't know what it is. Maybe this weird season that we're in the middle of. Like I don't know, but it feels weird that these teams aren't good this year.
And it's not only are the traditional teams not good in the Big Ten, but the ones who are good. Like Big Ten had a lot of teams seeded 1 through 4,
Yeah.
and you look up and they're losing to 15s and 13s and 12s and 7 seeds. Like that is, I get it. You ran through a gauntlet, had a tough season, but come on, man, you got to be able to beat the Oral Roberts and the North Texases of the world.
Yeah, and as the Illinois game's winding down, and to hear things like, oh, well, you know, they were misseeded. Loyola Chicago, they shouldn't have to play. Well, you're going to have to play tough teams as this thing goes along. I mean, you're better than Loyola Chicago. I'm sorry. Whether they were seeded wrong, okay, maybe they should have been a 5 or a 6.
Yeah.
You still should beat them. You're a number 1 seed.
Yeah.
And you got beat. And you got beat up in that game. I mean, it wasn't close between the two teams. So I don't know.
Some of it might be style of play, because Lane, you brought it up. The Big Ten recruits at a really high level, and they're going out there trying to get guys who are ready to go to the NBA. So if you got NBA talent, you got to play an NBA style of basketball, and this is what got Illinois. They would just throw the ball to one of their studs and then just say, hey, go make a play for us. Whereas Loyola is getting, what's my man's name? Mustache dude.
The center, you mean?
Yeah,
I don't know his name.
Kurt Krutwig.
Yeah.
They're getting Krutwig involved in the play. So he's at the top of the key. He makes the entry pass. He runs away. He sets a down screen. They set a cross screen for him, and boom. He's got the ball, and he's pretty much open with a chance to score in easy position. Whereas when you look at Coburn, he's just running down the court, posting up. The defense is set. Defense not moving. It's just, hey, big guy, go be big and make a play for us. And you can't always depend on that with college kids that are so young.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I usually don't watch college basketball, is just because the coaching, there really is none. Like when on offense, it's just like if you're more athletic than the other guy, you're probably going to get your shot off. Years ago, 15 maybe years ago, long time ago, I was at the Coaches versus Cancer Classic at MSG in New York, and we were sitting courtside. We were really close. The press table was down low, and Kansas was playing. Bill Self walking right in front of us coaching. Out of a timeout, he tells one of the guys, I don't remember who it was. It was probably Perry Ellis, who was there 20 years. Right. But he told one of the guys, he was like, hey, you get open right here. That was the play they drew up. And me and the other guy from Slam, Ben, we looked at each other like, really? That was the play.
Yeah.
You get open right here. I mean, and that works in college. That you can do that if you're a good enough athlete. And that's why I think you see these teams that have like maybe one guy who's amazing be able to carry them through. And I don't know. I think it's all just sort of coming to fruition this year in the tournament.
Yeah, and maybe I've come across as a little angry today. I don't know. Maybe if that's the case, it's my anger towards people, not anger towards the tournament. But my one thing that is angry about the tournament, my goodness, is the officiating in college basketball. Just horrific. I mean, the charge call is just out of control.
Yeah.
And they travel all the time.
Oh.
I mean, every the catch and dribble.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch it in the NBA, and I think to myself a lot of times, how is that a travel? I mean, and how can the officials actually see that that's a travel? It blows my mind. And in college, they do it every time they get the ball. They're taking 3 steps and then putting it down, and it's never called.
No.
And then the charge, how you can just jump in front of somebody.
They call that all the time.
I mean, man.
The kid from Michigan, the point guard last night, it was like a 4-point game. They inbound the ball. He just ran 4 steps.
Yes.
And then they called it on that one.
Yes.
But I'm just like, the officiating, I tweeted last night, watching college basketball makes me realize how good the NBA officials are.
It is amazing. Yeah. Amazing how you feel that way.
I also took that back at halftime of the Grizzlies game. But
well, the Baylor Bears are a number 1 seed that has survived thus far, although I will say I had Hartford in the opener. They covered by 1.5. Then they knock off Wisconsin, and now they got Villanova up next. Scott Drew talking about his team being back.
I can tell you, being back in the NCAA tournament after last year and so many people not having a chance to experience it, but so many new guys, because I mean, a lot of times people that are playing a lot of minutes are upperclassmen, so they graduate. If they're young, usually they turn pro. So a lot of first-year guys in the NCAA tournament, so a lot of jitters, a lot of nerves in that first game. I thought this game we had settled down a lot more, but I know everyone's really excited. I mean, you grow up living with college basketball. March Madness is what it's all about, and it's such a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Yeah, now Baylor goes on to take on a Villanova team that beat up on Winthrop and knocked off North Texas to get to the Sweet 16.
A lot of times I've noticed my bracket that I fill out, the teams I pick it's basically based on history. And I don't mean recent history. I mean like 20 years ago. Like teams I watched growing up. So like
I've picked NC State every year since they won
because of Lorenzo Charles, right?
Yes.
Like,
yeah, because I won the bracket that year at my dad's work. I was like 10, and I won the bracket. I had to go collect, I think, $30.
Even now,
huge.
I'll see Georgetown.
And I still pick them.
I see Georgetown, and I'm like, oh, Patrick Ewing, Bill Thompson. All right, Georgetown,
no doubt.
So Baylor, I picked them to go to the Final Four only because one of my friends went to Baylor.
Right.
And I was like, oh, well, Jason went to Baylor. All right, let's go Baylor. Seems like as good a logic as anything else.
Baylor is a 6.5-point favorite over Villanova. Now, the Fighting Illini, they did not advance to the Sweet 16 as they are the first number 1 seed to go, losing to 8 seed Loyola Chicago and their head coach, Porter Mosier. They're back again in the Sweet 16, and Porter talks about the win over the Illini.
They had confidence going in, you know, and I think that's the whole key of this tournament is not just being, happy to be here, but having the confidence to win. Just a huge amount of respect for Illinois. Our guys, when we were waiting for Selection Sunday, we were actually watching that Ohio State game, and just, some of our guys know their guys, and then Iowa hit that first jumper, and you're like, oh, that was a pretty tough shot. But I think our guys they believe, and that's just a big, big factor in all this. And just pleased with how they were resilient, and every time they start, coach would have a dunk or they'd hit a big shot, but they just kept on coming back, because you have to do that. There's going to be ups and downs, because everybody you play is good, and so just happy for the resiliency of the guys.
Well, you were talking about what college basketball is and what it resorts to, the athleticism and just the individual talent on a lot of teams, and those are usually the best teams in the country. Those are guys who are NBA players. These mid-majors always seem to be senior-laden teams that have played together for a while, that have good chemistry, and they probably play better basketball. So if they hit shots, they can beat you on any given day. Also,
he talked about the confidence they had. I mean, that starts with Sister Jean. Did you see that prayer she gave the team?
Yeah.
Like, I actually called it up because she said, "We ask for special help to overcome this team and get a great win. We hope to score early and make our opponents nervous." We have a great opportunity to convert rebounds, as this team makes about 50% of its layups and 30% of its three-pointers. Like, this is like a pretty aggressive prayer. She's got stats in there.
Scouting report.
Yeah.
Notre Dame's got to get in there and offer Sister Jean so she can come and play for their football team, dog.
Maybe she can do like a 5th-year senior transfer. You don't have to sit out a year.
In Notre Dame for football season. Yeah. They needed all the Catholic schools need a little bit of Sister Jean. In Boston College, a Catholic school, they could really use it.
That'd be a great headline. Sister Jean enters the transfer portal.
Speaking of Porter Mosier, didn't he used to be on Hee Haw?
I believe that is the same guy. Yes, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. The Arkansas Razorbacks are in the Sweet 16 for the first time since Nolan Richardson was there. And Eric Musselman couldn't be more excited. He's having a blast. Yeah. He's fun to watch, and he talks about getting the Hogs to the Sweet 16.
Look, it's a historic program with incredible fans. Getting this far is just, I can't describe it. I just feel, as a coach, personally, I feel so fortunate to coach student athletes like this. Our chemistry is so good. They genuinely love each other. They love playing with each other. There's a lot of schools that, are one-sport schools, and at Arkansas, it's all our sports. I mean, the whole state loves all the teams, but this is really special. Obviously, we know it's been 20 whatever years. I just hope our students are having fun back in Fayetteville on campus tonight.
I'm sure they were. Arkansas, the second biggest favorite going into this weekend. They're favored by 11.5 over Oral Roberts. The only other favorite that's bigger is Gonzaga, 13 over Creighton.
I think Arkansas has got to be the big favorite this week.
Yeah.
They looked so good last week.
Yeah.
I think Oral Roberts might catch up with them a little bit.
Yeah. I think Arkansas Houston's going to be great.
Yeah.
When Houston knocks off Bayham and Syracuse and
That's
little
happening.
buddy.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Lance Taylor is going to join us here on the program. We'll get his thoughts and get Lance's locks for this weekend in the NCAA tournament. This is The Odds Couple on Grind City Media.
Yeah, I've always thought maybe a fun dunk contest wrinkle would be just to dunk on people. Instead of jumping over them, have them stand there and make a half-hearted attempt to block your dunk and then just destroy them.
Okay, yeah, but then who's going to sign up for that? Who's like, yeah, I'll be the poster. Join Lang Whitaker and me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, every Thursday as we debate the hottest topics in the NBA. IMHO on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and our social channels. Once a week, get your basketball fix with Talkin' Grizz featuring me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, and media from around the NBA as we discuss draft topics, prospects, and more. Connect with Grind City Media on all their social channels, subscribe to Grind City Media YouTube, and follow Grind City Media on Twitter and Instagram to stay up to date with all things Grizzlies.
You talk about free throws. If we could just take the word free out of it, it's not free anymore. I think we've all learned. Just, like, why do
they have to be
Why do
free?
we call it free throws? No, it's not. It's an extra
There is no
shot.
hand in your face,
Extra
Megan.
shot. Extra shot. No, because it's not free. It's too much pressure on myself. It's not free anymore. Just call it a throw. You get 2 throws. That's it. That's what it is. Yeah, it's just a toss.
Rise and Grind with Jessica and Megan. Live daily at 8 a.m. on grindcitymedia.com. Welcome back to grindcitymedia.com. Live from FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio. Now, here's more of the Odds Couple, Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
Hey, don't miss the newest Grind City Media show, Rise and Grind, with Jessica Benson and Megan Triplett. This duo brings a fresh, fun, and energetic. Well, Megan brings a fresh, fun, energetic double shot of morning vibes. Catch you up on the latest in sports, entertainment, pop culture, and everything Memphis with some completely biased, unfiltered discussions and a side of slightly above average jokes. Tune in to grindcitymedia.com, Grind City Media on YouTube, or via the official Grizzlies mobile app to catch Jessica and Megan live, or download each episode daily and subscribe at iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud today.
I have to say, Megan is hilarious on there.
Oh, Megan's the best.
Jessica, hey, wait, whoa. Hey, Jessica's pretty good, too. Jessica's awesome. It's great working with both of them in the morning.
Yeah.
That's the half funny part.
Yeah.
Stop hating on the homie. She's not here to defend herself.
It's not
That's
our
the
fault.
whole point.
Yeah, we invited her.
No, we hope she's feeling better. And we'll tune in to Rise and Grind tomorrow morning. And CJ will not tell her anything that was said during
I'll be
this
on there Friday.
You won't say anything either, right?
No, definitely not.
Okay, good. All right. Jim Boeheim's in the Sweet 16. Oh, my goodness. He's cranky, and people criticize Syracuse, and he's got the biggest rabbit ears in college basketball. Here's Jim Boeheim talking about the criticism of his program.
My father taught me a long time ago, you got to do what you think is right, and that's it. And you don't listen. And if you're a coach in Syracuse for 45 years, everybody has an opinion about what we should do or shouldn't do, or that we should be better or not. And, maybe the next coach will be better. That's great. I'd be happy to see that. But I do not worry about what anyone says in Syracuse. I learned it a long time ago. My guidance counselor in 8th grade told me, Jim, you're not going to please everybody. He must have known I was going to be a coach.
Jim Boeheim, ladies and
Do you
gentlemen.
know how old he is? I was just curious.
No.
I Googled Jim Boeheim, and the first thing that filled in was age. Because this apparently is the thing. He's 76 years old.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Surprised he's still coaching.
Well, the zone, man. The zone.
Does the zone count as coaching?
Yeah.
Not really.
No.
It's more of a scheme.
It's a scheme.
Yeah.
It's boring. It's time to welcome in from the roundtable on WJOX in Birmingham. You can catch him on Twitter at the Lance Taylor. You can get his picks daily at lanceslock.com. Lance Taylor joins us here on the telephone. Hello, Lance.
So I found out a factoid today about Jim Boeheim. We have former Ole Miss coach, now current UAB coach, Andy Kennedy. And he informed us his relationship with Bobby Huggins. He said Bobby Huggins was a player when Jim Boeheim was still coaching. If that puts in perspective, that blows me away, because when you look at Huggy Bear, I mean, he looks like he has a handle every other week.
Yes. Oh, Jim Boeheim, the zone. Here we are again. Sweet 16 for Syracuse. Yay. They ruin brackets and then they'll fizzle out.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. He seems to do his best work when they're just a team that seems to find a way to creep in the tournament. Nobody believes they deserve an at-large. And I read this morning that Buddy Boeheim's numbers through his first 2 games of this tournament are better than Carmelo Anthony's back in 2003 when they made a run to win Boeheim's only national championship. But if Boeheim is hitting his threes and with this defense, man, I mean, they're going to be a tough out. Now, I just wonder if Houston had that wake-up call against Rutgers, where that 14-2 run to end that game. I still don't know how Rutgers blew that game. I had Rutgers plus the 7, so we still got the cover. But you just wonder if that's going to wake this Houston team up.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think it's been interesting watching this tournament and betting on this tournament. I've been amazed at how many games have been right on the line. I mean, it's been remarkable how many games have been right there close to the line. I mean, obviously there have been some big upsets, and those aren't really close to the line because the dog is winning straight up. But how are you doing so far in the tournament, Lance?
Well, we've won 4 or 5 nights. Going back to Thursday night with the play-in. So, it's been a nice run so far. But you're right, man. These have come down to the wire, and you've got to have a strong stomach for basketball. I've always told people that, and you guys know it, as guys that like to wager a little bit. But, yeah, it's been a good run so far.
Yeah, it's amazing at college basketball when you get down to those last 30 seconds and you're close to the line, and how much everything starts going through your head of, well, they could turn it over, they could miss free throws, they'll miss the first end.
It's all on the table with college basketball.
I mean, everything's out there. Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. Do you think we start to see things kind of the cream rise to the top here going forward?
Well, I would think. I mean, really, the only cream we've got, I mean, when you're looking at dominant elite teams or two that we've had all year, and Gonzaga and Baylor, I mean, I think they've still separated themselves. Baylor, which didn't look to have legs going into this tournament, they looked just fine after 2 games. Alabama, the way they played their last game out against Maryland, Bama's hitting their threes. I mean, that is obviously a really dangerous team. After that game, Mark Turgeon quoted them as the 5th 1 seed. Now that region is obviously wide open with Isaiah Livers not playing for Michigan. We'll see if he's able to make it back for the second weekend. I think Florida State's extremely dangerous, but, to me, the wild card region right now is the Midwest. I don't know how you guys feel about Loyola Chicago. I couldn't believe they made that Final Four run back in 2018. Mm-hmm. But with Cameron Krutwig, the way Porter Moser has that offense clicking, and, they're sitting there as a 6.5-point favorite against Oregon State. So, it's almost like you pencil them into the Elite 8. And now that, they're going to be going against, the other side of that, which, I mean, what are we looking at on the other side of them right now? We're
Houston
looking
or
at
Syracuse?
Houston and Syracuse. I mean, hell, they could go back to a Final Four, which is almost as remarkable as Butler playing for national championships in back-to-back years.
Yeah, that is pretty remarkable. The team that you didn't mention out east is UCLA. I mean, they are crushing people, and it feels like I don't know what's happened there, but all of a sudden they look like the best team. And I got to ask you something before we talk about UCLA, but on the brackets. Okay, so I'm in a bracket deal with people. And you don't count those first 4 games. So the people who picked Michigan State to win to win the second game, like to beat BYU, do you give them credit even though it's UCLA since the play-in game doesn't count?
No, I don't.
I don't give them credit for having Michigan State going this far.
You shouldn't, but like I hosted 2 Calcuttas last week, and you buy that team. So you buy the combination of Michigan State, UCLA.
Right. Okay, yeah.
You know, in my initial bracket, I had UCLA. I went out and wrote it out UCLA to beat BYU, but then I made the mistake of going back once they matched up, and I took BYU minus the points, and obviously got burnt there.
Right.
You know, UCLA coming into this tournament, though, Mick Cronin's squad had lost 4 consecutive games. You know, when they were 4-5 in their last 9 games. So I didn't have a huge expectation for UCLA. But they're playing extremely well right now. And, you know, again, if Alabama's hitting their threes, I don't see Alabama losing that game. I mean, they're kind of a healthy 6-point favorite. But you just never know.
Yeah, and it's been pretty remarkable, too, to like look at some computer picks and everything during this tournament and how many times the computer's spitting out the dog. I mean, it's been a lot of dogs to cover in this tournament, whether it was the big spreads or even the smaller ones, a lot of dogs. And I mean, I yesterday was the first day that I didn't have a winning day in the tournament, and it's been remarkable how many dogs have been the ones that have covered. And you know, yesterday that turned around and didn't really happen with the exception of Oregon and Iowa. But other than that, it seemed like you know, yesterday was the first day that we saw the favorites really come through and cover.
Yeah, and, you know, I did have Abilene Christian. And going back to that Texas game, you know, Texas has burnt me, speaking of filling out brackets. And we do, you know, a crazy bracket challenge on our show, and the loser has to do something completely ridiculous. And I was the one that came up with the bet this year because 11 years we've been together, and I lost the very first year, and I haven't lost since. And I felt pretty good because, you know, there's 3 of us, and all I've got to do is at least finish second.
Right.
So I felt good about this, and the bet is the loser's got to go to Alien Fest in Roswell, New Mexico for a couple of days in July.
The loser or the winner?
Yeah, depending on what you like in your life.
I guess.
I want nothing to do with Roswell and people that want to spend a weekend there for Alien Fest. But, yeah, now I'm not trending well, and I said the team that was ultimately going to send me to Roswell if they didn't show up was Texas. And how in the hell they lose to Abilene Christian? And watching that game, I started to try to give Shaka Smart a little benefit of the doubt, although Jericho Sims gets 3 touches, that this is an Abilene Christian team that I had no idea entering the tournament led the nation in turnovers, or forced turnovers, and Texas turns it over 23 times. And I was like, you know, UCLA's only got 1 primary ball handler in Tiger Campbell. I think they're going to give UCLA fits. The number seems a little low. I take Abilene Christian. UCLA turns it over 7 times. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, no kidding. By the way, for your information, the NIT going on, I am 7-0 in a push. 7-0 with a push in the 8 NIT games so far. On fire.
Well, you have found your calling.
Yeah.
I mean,
should I advertise that?
Service, just type it up. You know, hey, for these 3 weeks a year, I am the NIT guru. And
Dr. NIT. Yes. I think that might be my
Make one of those videos for Lance's Twitter account.
Yeah, Lance, we were wondering, do we know Michaela?
Honestly, I met Michaela a couple of weeks ago. I've got a partner on the website. He introduced me, and yeah, she's an employee now.
Very nice.
It seems like she knows what she's talking about, right?
Very good, sure. Very good, very good. How can people get your picks, Lance?
Really simple. You can follow us at Lance's Lock on Twitter. You probably would enjoy that, or just go to lanceslock.com. Again, it's $90 a month. You get everything NBA, obviously the rest of this tournament. Really simple. We've won 4 of the first 5 days of the tournament. We will continue to win for you. So jump on board, lanceslock.com. Again, it's $90 for everything. Really simple.
And no confirmation, but Lance is thinking of hiring me as their NIT expert.
Dr. NIT.
Yeah, Dr. NIT. And we got baseball coming up too, Lance.
we do have baseball coming up in the next couple of weeks, and so we're looking forward to that. So again, yeah, you get absolutely everything. So if you jump on board for the next 30 days, you're going to get Major League Baseball, you're going to get the NBA, and obviously you're going to get college basketball with a little NIT sprinkled in. I don't think I'm going to go 7-0 for you, but we're going to win.
Perfect. And before we let you go, Final Four. Who's left when we talk next week?
Oh, I've got to stick with Gonzaga and Baylor, the only 2 that I've got alive right now. I'll go Florida State, and it's going to be Houston or Loyola. I will take Houston. I'll go Houston, Florida State, Baylor, and Gonzaga.
Sounds good, man. We'll check you on it next week. Lance, always a pleasure, man. Thanks for joining us.
Yep. See you guys.
Appreciate
Good
it.
luck.
Lance Taylor joining us from WJOX in Birmingham, host of the Roundtable. It has been fun. These upsets. Oral Roberts is in the Sweet 16. Yes, the 15 seed knocked off Ohio State, and then they beat Florida, and now they get Arkansas. Their head coach is Paul Mills, who is not verified on the Twitter, by the way. Not verified on Twitter.
Their men's basketball team isn't verified on Twitter.
Isn't verified either. Yeah, I saw you tweet out yesterday to get him a check.
Yeah, got to get the blue check to the Oral Roberts crew.
Paul Mills, he's the head coach, talking about how his team got here.
Good people make good players, and we have really good people. And you know what's a sign of having good people? Humility. If you're arrogant, I mean, I don't know how I could ever help you. And if I'm arrogant, I don't know that I could ever learn and be taught. And if you don't have a work ethic, you're not going to be any good. And if I'm unwilling to work, I'm not going to be any good. And so I just think those are two huge components. There's a Bible verse that says God opposes the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. And I don't want to be God's opponent, so I don't want to go in this prideful. I understand what an opponent looks like. And so from that perspective, humility and work ethic play such a huge part in becoming good people, good players.
I don't know if Coach Mills could help me.
I didn't know Oral Roberts had a basketball team. I didn't even know it was still at college. Oral Roberts isn't alive anymore, is he?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
And here they are in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
All right, CJ's looking it up quickly for us.
I'm pretty sure Oral Roberts passed away, but I might be wrong.
I think so. Knocking off Ohio State, knocking off Florida. They are now taking on Arkansas for a trip to the Elite Eight.
The great Oral Roberts passed away in 2009.
2009.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We're going to check in on our picks and how we're doing with our Final Four. And we'll look ahead to this weekend and give you a couple of picks there as well. This is The Odds Couple on Grind City Media.
When I said coming to America too, and I knew the look you were going to give me because it's the look I've been getting from everybody, which is like, oh, cool. Don't mess it up. We know where you live. We know, there's going to be a wave of people, attacking Crosstown. Just throw down the head of Craig Brewer.
The Chris Vernon Show, live weekdays at noon on grindcitymedia.com, the Grizzlies mobile app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Once a week, get your basketball fix with Talkin' Grizz featuring me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, and media from around the NBA as we discuss draft topics, prospects, and more. Connect with Grind City Media on all their social channels, subscribe to Grind City Media YouTube, and follow Grind City Media on Twitter and Instagram to stay up to date with all things Grizzlies.
I know everybody on this roster plays hard. We play together, and whoever lines it up with us, it doesn't really matter. Memphis versus everybody for sure.
Kawhi, Justice Winslow with the takeaway. Dillon for three, down the well it goes. Ja banks it in, and one! Lob, Clark! Anderson for three. Boom!
That's how we fight. That's how we fight. That's how we fight.
Welcome back to The Odds Couple on GrindCityMedia.com. Live from FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio. Here's The Odds Couple, Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
Get your daily sports, pop culture, and Grizz fix with insider news and commentary on all things sports and more with The Chris Vernon Show. Live at noon daily, Monday through Friday. Tune in to GrindCityMedia.com, Grind City Media on YouTube, or via the official Grizzlies mobile app to catch Chris live. Or download each episode daily and subscribe at iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud today. Welcome back to The Odds Couple here on Sweet 16 week. We got Final Four week next week. We got a big month coming up. We got WrestleMania coming up.
Baseball.
We got baseball coming up. We got the Masters coming up. We got a lot of stuff coming up. What else? Let me look at the schedule.
Spring football.
Else. The Academy Awards.
Oh, that's a big one.
Are coming up. We were hoping Academy Awards and WrestleMania would be the same week.
Yeah.
To figure out how we would dress for that program, but that's not the case.
Tuxedo with a mullet.
Tuxedo
top, spandex bottom.
Spandex bottom. Yes.
That's how I normally dress.
I used to watch a guy who performed in Vegas who wore that outfit. His name was he and his band, they were Cook E. Jar and the Crumbs. And they were like the best local act for like a decade. And yeah, he was unbelievable.
And now he's coaching at Syracuse.
Now he's coaching at Syracuse, yes. The Memphis Tigers are in the NIT's Elite Eight, or the last eight. I don't know, the last eight. They're in the last eight of the NIT. Quarterfinals? Yeah, quarterfinals
Whatever.
of the NIT being played down there in Frisco, Texas. Penny Hardaway talking about Memphis having a big second half in their win over Dayton.
Just settle the nerves. I think everybody comes out trying to do too much at one time. They all want to do well, but sometimes it kind of backfires on us. When we gather our nerves and then kind of settle down, everybody starts to understand the flow of the game, and things start to work a lot better for us. So I think that's what happened. Our flow just got a lot better.
How far can you go if you guys can continue to do this for the next 4 games?
Man, we can get to the championship and win it if we play this way, because you're crashing the glass like that, like Lester was doing, like DeAndre was doing, like DJ was doing. Those guys were all over the glass. It's a huge advantage for us because it adds to our points, and it gives us our second opportunities, and that's what you want as a coach. We've seen Houston do it to us, and we've learned from that, and we have an offensive rebounding team as well. In the first half, we really didn't get many. Second half, we did better, and if we can do that, then we'll be tough to beat.
They got Boise State on Friday, or on Thursday. I'm sorry. And the Tigers, I believe, are favored by 4, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was the line. Let me make sure.
How about a 1 seed against a 2 seed?
4.5 for the Tigers. Yeah, 1 seed against a 2 seed in the quarterfinals. Yeah. Tigers favored by 4.5 over Boise. Boise, actually, that is the only game that I pushed that I haven't won, and they had every opportunity to cover that game and just
couldn't do it.
Somehow didn't. I mean, they were given every opportunity to cover, and they ended up pushing. So 7-0-1 in the NIT. I don't have a handle yet on this Memphis game, but I like the way Memphis is playing, and I like the way they played in that first game because you can kind of tell if teams want to be there or not.
We should also pour some out, have a tribute, something for Drake basketball, because they were so instrumental in our success earlier this season.
Oh, huge.
And then they kind of had some injury problems, stuff went bad, and they still made the tournament, won the play-in game.
Yeah.
And then just
and still went like 23-5 against the spread this year.
But I think Hemphill was his name, who got injured and just barely. He came back, but you could tell he wasn't in 100%. John Roser and I were talking about it this morning. It was sad to see them.
It was sad, especially to lose to a team like USC.
Yeah,
it was really difficult.
Hey, the group of 5 teams are going to win some.
Yeah, they're going to get you every once in a while. Those upsets, here in the NCAA tournament. All right, it's time to go back and look at our picks and what our original Final Fours were and our champion and see how we're doing today. I go ahead and start. Well, I've lost one. I lost my team in the South. That was Ohio State. I guess I would replace them with Baylor at this point. I think Baylor's one of the best teams in the country, so I'll replace them with Baylor. I feel pretty good about Gonzaga still. Michigan scares me. The team that scares me out of that region is UCLA because they're playing as well as anybody in the country. Houston, I like Houston against Syracuse. Loyola Chicago scares me. Wouldn't shock me if they got to the Final Four, but I think I'd stick with Houston, and I'll stick with Gonzaga being the champion. Lang, how are you doing?
I think Gonzaga's overrated every single year. Every single year. And every year the same thing happens. Everybody's like, whoa, this team out in the West are not playing big-time games, but we think they've got the talent to do it. Every year we have the same conversation around Gonzaga, and then they lose in like the Elite Eight or the Sweet 16. Maybe they make the Final Four and lose, but we have the same conversation every year, and I don't think that changes. So I got them up out of here. But I had Virginia and Illinois in my Final Four. They both underperformed, whatever. They looked terrible. So
who would you replace them with now?
Oh, I mean, I think Gonzaga will probably make the Final Four. I just don't think they're going to win the title. And in the Midwest, I don't know. Is that where Houston? Yeah, I think Arkansas probably.
Oh, Arkansas's in the South.
Oh, well, never mind. I think Houston,
Syracuse, Oregon State, Loyola.
Houston. I'll take them. But I picked Michigan again. We picked because of our history and all that stuff.
Right.
I lost one of my best friends to COVID earlier this year, Sekou Smith. He was a huge Michigan fan. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it for Sekou. This is Sekou strong. We're going to pick Michigan and ride them this year. And they've been doing all right. So I'm still rooting for the blue. Go blue.
All right. CJ, how are you doing?
Got a good friend there.
Yeah.
I'm all right. I lost one in the Midwest. I can't remember who came out of the Midwest for me.
You had Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State
Yeah.
I had. And they just pooped the bed like so many of these other teams. Supremely talented, best players on the court and just fell apart. I like Michigan still to win it all. I think that the difference in what Gonzaga and even Baylor do versus what Michigan does is Baylor and Gonzaga jump out on you early and quick. We knew 6 minutes left in that Oklahoma game. No disrespect to Oklahoma. They played incredibly well. But we knew 6 minutes left in half that Oklahoma was about to get run out the gym because Gonzaga just has the ability to jump on you and just keep pouring it on you, whereas Michigan kind of just leans on you throughout the course of the game. And then you look up, and why is Michigan in this game? Why are they ahead? And I think if in a matchup, Michigan versus Gonzaga, Michigan keeps the game close. We hadn't seen Gonzaga be close with a good team. We thought we saw it early in the year, but come to find out, the teams that Gonzaga had beat weren't that good in actuality. Right. So I think Michigan still wins the championship. If I'm going to replace a team, give me Loyola in that Midwest region. It's hard for me to pick Houston. They knocked off my Cleveland State team. That really hurt me. So yeah, give me Loyola out of the Midwest.
You like Villanova where they're at?
I do like Villanova where they are. I think that they are well coached, and this time of the year, we've seen it. Just think about Loyola and Illinois and some of these other North Texas and Purdue, where the better coached team, the team with the better game plan, the better schemes, can outperform the team with the more talent. Right. And I think that is going to be the case with Jay Wright and Villanova against Baylor.
I know she's not here, but can we see Jessica's picks? Don't we have them?
I think we got them.
Robbie, can you throw him up there?
I don't know if
she's got USC winning it all.
I don't know. She doesn't because she's big West Coast. So Gonzaga USC is the same thing there.
Yeah, she had Gonzaga winning the championship.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay. So that was her. Jessica's Gems, we call them. There they are. Yeah, she lost her Midwest. She had Oklahoma State as well in the Midwest. But still with Gonzaga, Alabama, Baylor, and the Zags winning the championship. So
we'll see.
There you go. Yeah, and Roser, I believe, lost one as well, if I'm not mistaken. Here,
I think he had at least lost one. He was he said he had done pretty well in the tournament the first couple days.
Roser lost his Midwest as well, and I think he had Illinois, if I'm not mistaken. But he's got Gonzaga, Alabama, Baylor, and the Zags winning the championship as well. So, all right. Well, next week we got the Final Four. Next week we might have a little baseball. Yeah. Baseball starting up. Spring training has flown by.
Ronald Acuna is number 1 in Vegas to lead the league in home runs this year.
He's top 4 MVP candidate too in Vegas.
See. I don't know. He cut his hair.
He
cut his hair and he lost 15 pounds. So
although the MVP's in St. Louis, Nolan Arenado is going to be that MVP.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. All right, Jessica, we apologize.
For what?
I don't know. In case she watches the end of the show,
she's not going to watch it. She's going to be too busy watching the Pac-12.
That does it for us. We'll talk again next week. Our Final Four edition of The Odds Couple here on Grind City Media. Enjoy all the action this weekend.
You've been listening to The Odds Couple from the American Home Shield Studio on GrindCityMedia.com. Tune in next week for more football handicapping with Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.